Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Speak Your Own Book. I'm your host, Chris Copeland. As a writing coach with SYOB, my goal is to make the writing and publishing process more accessible to you. Today, we're diving into chapter 2 of our book. Last week, we looked at chapter 1 of the Speak Your Own Book textbook. Now, this is available currently for Witch School students. However, there will be a Psychic Academy one that will become available as soon as Psychic Academy is open. We're working on that currently. But today we're going into chapter 2. So last week we talked about idea generation and choosing your book idea. Chapter 2 is all about setting up your sales funnel and your marketing funnel for your book. Before you even start writing your book, you need to be thinking about this. So we'll dive into a lot of different techniques that we use for driving those who are seeking the knowledge that can be found in your book, driving them towards your website, towards your social media, and of course, eventually to your book itself, to the sales page for your book. We'll also explore how to use digital tools to not only write, but also market your first book. So whether you're a seasoned author or you're just starting out, grab your notebook today and let's get into it. Now, I'll go ahead and share my screen here. We're going to be taking a look at the actual document that I worked in to create the book, specifically at lesson 2. So when you're taking this lesson, whether that's through Witch School or through Psychic Academy, you'll be able to go into a lot more depth on the topics that we cover in today's podcast. Today is not really meant to be a replacement for taking the course, more of just an overview of what you'll see in that course. So if you finish this lesson on either Witch School or at Psychic Academy when it becomes available there, you will learn how to create an author profile on your target social media platforms. We'll also talk about which social media platforms you need to have as an author and which ones are optional. Now, this one is a bit out of date regarding Twitter and the switch over to X. I did write this before Elon Musk took over, and honestly, at this point, I would advise against setting up Twitter/X account. Just because of the issues associated with Twitter, it's probably best just to stay away from it, even just for your own sanity, if nothing else. We'll also talk about how you can create a website with an option for pre-ordering your first book. And you'll be able to drive traffic to your website through search engine optimization. And if you have the funding for it, search engine marketing, which is a paid advertising through Google, through Facebook, through social medias, as well as search engines. You'll also learn how to create an email drip campaign from the emails that you collect through a newsletter sign up on your website. And you'll drive those orders of pre-sales for your first book through a specific sales funnel. A sales funnel is a step-by-step process that your reader goes through from the moment they hear about your book, they hear about your name, to the moment they purchase that book. And that will help you to raise funds for other publishing expenses, whether that's editing or cover art or document setup, any of those things that you might want to outsource to a professional to handle for you. In every single chapter, we also have a set of vocabulary that we put right at the beginning. The definitions for that vocabulary can be found at the end of the book. So if you need that, that is also available on the witchschool.com website. In this one, you'll have several different new words to take a look at. One is an author profile, which is an online social media profile for an author. You'll also have brand, and that includes brand awareness, as well as everything to do with creating your own personal brand. You'll learn what a call to action is. A quick definition for that is the step that you want your reader to take. That could be, from the first step, it could be following you on social media. Next, it might be going to your website from your social media account and putting in their email address to sign up for your newsletter. And then after that, you might start an email drip campaign to them, encouraging them to buy your book and any other products or services that you sell. You'll also learn about hashtags and how to create relevant hashtags to your social media posting. You'll learn what a landing page is. This is a specific type of web page that its only goal is to funnel people from Google search engine to buying the book, to the sales page of your book. You'll learn the difference between marketing and sales and how both of these work together in order to reach your financial goals with the book. Reader will be able to, or an RAWBAT is instead of saying author will be able to or student will be able to, we'll discuss what your reader should be able to do after they finish your book. These can be used to define your features of your book or the benefits of your book in your advertising. We've discussed sales funnel, the steps that you want your reader to take. We've also talked about search engine marketing and search engine optimization briefly. You'll learn much more about that in there. At the end of our podcast today, we will come back to this sales and marketing meditation and go through that together. Last time we touched on why there were 2 chapters about sales and marketing. The reason for that is because you want to start your planning for your sales and marketing before you start writing, during the writing, and then again, you'll have some special things to do after the publication of your book, such as going on podcasts, going on book tours or book signings, all of those things that come after your publication. So we'll just scroll down here. Let's talk about authors' profiles for a minute. It is really important for you to create your author profile as quickly as possible. Claim that social media handle, and it could be, if you're already using your full name as your social media handle, your personal one, you can just put the word author before or after and create a new handle under that username. So if it's John Smith, normally you might put author John Smith or John Smith author as your @ or your page name on your social medias. Now, the reason I do recommend starting a separate professional profile for this is because you don't necessarily want your personal, family photos or things like that flooding out to your readers all the time. If you take a look at professional authors' online presence, when they have like author Laurel K. Hamilton, she doesn't post her personal photos, her family photos on there. Occasionally she might post a cat photo because she does have a lot of pagan fans and pagans love cats, so that's appropriate. But she's not going to, post these more intimate, more personal things that she doesn't necessarily either want to share with her audience, or her audience probably would be a little bit weirded out or a little bit like, why is she sharing this information when I'm just following her for her readership? So just pay attention to what you're posting to each profile. And again, I do recommend separating those out. Now, I say I recommend separating those out, although I keep my personal one and my professional one combined, because so much of my writing involves discussing my personal life. So if that also resonates for you and it makes sense for you to post your authorship type posts to a personal social media account, then that's fine too. Just some recommendations or things to think about before you make those decisions. We also give you advice on when and where to create social media accounts. So what I recommend in particular is to use Facebook. I used to recommend Twitter. Again, I don't recommend this as much anymore just because of the ethical issues around Twitter and the kind of quagmire of disgusting things that it has become in recent months. But I definitely recommend Instagram and TikTok, and try to, post to these at least once a week to each of them. Facebook is also great, especially for creating your own groups so that you could have your readership, communicate with you through an more interactive setting. You could also create a Facebook page for this. And also YouTube is great for uploading those same things that you might upload to TikTok, but as shorts on YouTube. Now, we also discuss what you might want to post to each one, what you want to put on your profile. So we discuss not just that you need a clear headshot or cover photo for your profile, but also we give you instructions for how to do good lighting setup, how to play around with the lighting that you have available in your house to create a balanced lighting if you're going to take these photos yourself. And we also discussed a bit about backgrounds. You'll notice that I don't have much of a background on my wall right now. Behind me, I recently reorganized my office space, and we're going to be doing some painting in here and replacing the floor. So as we do that, I need to move things around. So you won't see the nice background that I have over here, which you normally see in my videos, of like the magnets with all the places that I've been to, or my personal collection of seashells from different oceans or things like that. But I do recommend that you think about these things for your own, whether that's doing a podcast or a video, or whether that's taking your headshot or your cover photos. But you might want to think about having some pagan things or some witchy things in the background. So think about what's important to you, particularly if you're writing a book on herbalism. We point out in here that you can have your herb garden as your background. So you may even want to play around with the current theme of the book that you're working on. And you can switch those out and update those as time goes on and you produce more content. So we also go into how to write a good Instagram bio or a good Facebook bio. Now the Facebook bio tends to be a bit shorter. The Insta bio can be a bit somewhat longer, but not too much. But I recommend keeping it under 150 characters, something like that. I give examples in here of other authors, of famous authors that have done this, and I also show you what I do with my own profile. So let's go into the types of things that you can post. Creating your book is in fact creating content for your social media. You can post on what you completed today with your book. You can post on what step you're at with your book. You can ask for advice about cover art. You can poll your audience to see what they recommend for two different possible images to go with a certain section, or two different types of graphs to go with a certain section. Post teaser videos, show off your progress as you go. Do read-alongs as well. And things like that you can post clips of your Zoom sessions if you're doing Zoom, to show what that speak writing process looks like for you. Walk your reader through this. Bring those people along on the journey with you. If you get them to invest in your story, in your journey, to create your story early on, then they'll just want to follow you to find out how it turns out, to see what success you've achieved with it, or to find out what the final product will look like. Did you take the advice that they provided? Did you go with a different direction? They're just going to be more invested if you share that story, that journey with them from the very beginning. We also discuss in here hashtags and how to find better hashtags. I've given you a few tools here to help out with hashtags, and that includes things from Reedsy. Reedsy is an excellent website for writers, especially new writers, to learn step by step what you need in a social media campaign for a book. So take a look at those links as well. Display Purposes is a great one for coming up with the most popular hashtags. If you put in one hashtag that's related to your book, let's say tarot, it will come up with 30 more that are related to tarot. And you'll notice I'm talking here about when you put in that example that sometimes you'll have to go through the ones that it suggests and make sure that they actually are relevant to you. Some of these may be quite relevant, like the names of tarot in other languages, like Tarazi. But others may be less useful. But it depends on what market you're working with, especially if you're writing towards an audience that maybe they speak English as their second language. You might want to put in their native language that original tag that you're looking for. Whether that's in Spanish, in this case it was Turkish, but yeah, take a look at that information and decide what hashtags work best for your book. Then again, we touch on calls to action. Now, the call to action is the very simple one step that you want your reader to take to get them one more point further in their sales funnel. So my recommendation is start with your social media, start building your presence there. Once you have your social media set up, get a website, make it yourname.com, yournameauthor.com, authoryourname.com, but something like that. And then when you build your website, you'll have a link on that website for them to enter their email address to keep up to date on your projects. And your goal basically is to capture those email addresses so that you can continue to market to them through email drip campaigns. So we give you advice on not just setting up the social media part. That's just one step. Remember, there are 3 parts to this process of marketing. You need to have your online social media presence, and then you need to have your website, and thirdly, your email campaign. We give you some advice on the website. I recommend Squarespace. Now, I have heard from some pagans that Squarespace has taken them offline because they disagree with the type of content that is on there. I have not personally experienced this, and we have, tarot books on our website. We have links to Witchable. We have links to Witchstarter on there, and all of these other pagan websites, and we've never had one problem with Squarespace. But that's just my personal experience, and it may not be reflective of what the majority of pagans experience, or even just what a select few experience. So keep that in mind. Some people prefer to use GoDaddy from the pagan community for that reason. Use whichever you're comfortable with. And then use a basic website domain like yourname.com. You want to keep this easy to remember. We talk about the KISS rule a lot through this. That's keep it simple, stupid, or that more kid-friendly version that I prefer, keep it simple, sweetie. This means just make it easy for your readers to remember what to type in, and then make it easy for them to follow through your website. Keep it very simple. A few basic pages, a sales page for your books, an about me page with all your other information. You might have a services page and a contact us page, but keep it simple. And then you will have other pages on there, but these are called landing pages. And I'll show you an example in the book from Speak Your Own Book, but I also show you an example of a mock-up that we've created for the fake book that we're writing as the example throughout this textbook, which is a tarot book called Tarot Merlot, which is about a witch who loves wine and tarot. And so we give you examples of how that might look on a social media page for her, how that might look for her website and for her email marketing. When you're thinking of your landing page, you also have to think about the keywords that you want to target, and you can make separate campaigns that target for thousands of keywords. Like the number of keywords that you're targeting per page, though, is going to be anywhere from 1 keyword to maybe 4, 5 max. It's great to also put in locations with these keywords. We talk a little bit about that in here as well. You might want to put something like tarot book from Texas, or tarot book from Chicago, or tarot book from let's say tarot book from the Netherlands. So something like that. however you want to market that. And the reason I suggest putting a place there is not just uh, because it will help you rank higher in Google, but in particular, it will rank higher in Google for that location. And the person doesn't need to type in tarot book in Texas, for example, or tarot book from Texas. What they'll type in is tarot book. And if they happen to be located in Texas, then your page will rank higher for tarot book than, say, another page about a tarot book, simply because it's more relevant to their location. So that's one way to use location in SEO landing pages to help target specific locations. And then we walk you through how to write an SEO landing page. We tell you what Speak Your Own Book's process for this is. Based on the weekly, we're doing anywhere between 5 and 10 jobs a week now for different small businesses and medium-sized businesses in America for these keyword campaigns. So we show you the formula that we use that have helped make not just our business successful, but hundreds at this point of other businesses successful too. So even if you're buying this book just or taking this course just for learning about search engine optimization, that alone you can carry with you into any other product or service that you buy or that you sell. So you can advertise the other things that you are doing directly to people who are typing in for that information on Google. We also talk about the difference between title tags and meta tags on there. You'll need to make sure that you have those so that you're easy to find by Google. So we walk you through the step-by-step points to take for that. Now, I also recommend writing in a similar style or a similar tone throughout all of your SEO pages. We go into more detail on these literary techniques, and I think it's chapter 8, whichever chapter is on revision, the ARMS chapter, chapter 7 maybe. In that section, we go into a lot more detail about different good writing techniques, just what makes good writing. But one common one that you see in a lot of SEO content especially is alliteration. So alliteration means repeating the same sound in a sentence over and over again. Shakespeare is famous for this. Here's one from Romeo and Juliet, from forth the fatal loins of these two foes. Then we also show you different ones from rap, from poetry, from songs like Joni Mitchell, Big Yellow Taxi, and Let It Be from the Beatles. But this technique has been used since language first began, and we first began using it in this literary way to tell a story in a creative or interesting way. So alliteration is a great way to add some flavor or flair to your writing very quickly. Even if you're not that great of a writer yourself, this is just a technique that helps make it a little bit better. So we give you the example from the tarot landing pages and all of that at the end of the chapter. So you can scroll through, if you're on the Witch School website, you can scroll through those and look for them later. So when you're talking about your just advertising or marketing your book in general, you want to focus on solving problems for the reader. We call those problems the reader's pain point. So you're making keywords and phrases that are related to solving that pain for them. Let's say it's specifically, I want to learn tarot so I can improve my life or improve my concept of myself or my self-esteem, something like that. You can make that very specific to what your goal is and what your reader might get out of it and what problem the reader might solve with it. But another thing you want to do is point out what makes you different. We call these unique selling points. What it makes yourself individually different from other writers. What makes the material that you're presenting to them different from what other books present to them. So come up with something that's quirky, that's interesting and engaging, that really shares who you are. One of my favorite examples of this is Cloud the Rapper. That's an excellent name, and it makes it makes him quirky and unique and memorable. So come up with something that people are going to remember. Um, Okay, so let's move on here. I've talked a little bit about Bloom's taxonomy through this because you're talking about what the reader will get out of your book. What are they going to learn? What are they going to do? What are they going to accomplish? So I've added Bloom's taxonomy in here because this is a foundational part of just human learning in general. The easiest level at the bottom is just remembering basic facts. So this is like 2 plus 2 is 4. That's a basic fact. Then understanding would be being able to explain a concept. Why does 2 plus 2 equal 4? Well, you have, two objects over here and you're adding two more to it, so that's why it's 4. If you can understand that concept and explain that to someone else, that means you've reached this level of understanding with it. This goes all the way up to creation. Creation is the highest one because you're producing an original work that may be influenced by a lot of things that you have previously evaluated, analyzed, applied, understood, or remembered from other experts in the field. So generate your list of reader will be able to from your book. This will help you with your marketing to let people know what they're going to get out of your book. Let's move on here to a drip email campaign. So a drip email campaign is a series of emails that will draw your potential readers down this sales funnel process. And most of the time, you want to start with a welcome campaign. Welcome the reader to your blog, your readership, your following, your subscription. And then you talk to them about different things about yourself, different points that you want them to know about yourself. We give you examples of other emails that you can also include with that, like bonus freebie email. Let's say you've just finished chapter 1 and you're giving that out to everybody today. You can send that in a bonus freebie email. You definitely need an about the author email to give more information about yourself and who you are, what makes you memorable to the reader. You want to always be pitching your latest book. That could just be an update, a weekly or monthly update on where you're at with your book. And then for your subscribers, you want to give them an exclusive discount through the email only. You can also advertise on your social media that if you sign up for our newsletter, you will get a 5%, 10% discount on anything in the bookstore or on my next book, or you'll get free shipping on it. But there's lots of clever ways to do that, and you can also gain more followers on social media through posting about these discounts that are exclusively available to your subscribers. And then you also want to have, as you get closer to the finishing of your book, you might have emails on what's coming soon, like what's the release date for it. You might have an exclusive cover reveal, the first chapter reveal. A general progress update is great, once a week, once a month for that. And then a release day special launch email. Post-release day, you'll probably want to also include more, but we'll talk about those in chapter 11 for this book. So I give some ideas of simple templates to use for your readership. I've shown that in this example as well. And then I've also shown some examples with using Tarot Merlot, the idea for a pagan or a tarot book that also includes wine suggestions or wine pairings, basically. Now, if you are in particular focusing on a type of paganism that's also combined with just something you collect or something you're interested in, like in this case wine, you could work with brands for the particular products that you like, especially if they're pagan brands, and then kind of do some affiliate advertising with that. You're promoting your favorite pagans, wine that they make or chocolate that they make in your book as well. And any orders that they might receive from that, maybe you get a percentage of those sales. So work with other pagans on affiliate advertising. You can also, I've included in here examples of freebie emails that you can use. And I've also got links at the back of this for where to go to find the editable versions of these emails. And then going through, we'll skip down through all of these example emails here for the Tarot Merlot book and all of that. You can feel free to read through them when you're on witchschool.com and registered for the course. But you'll notice that I've included all the text for you to use from it so that you can edit that as well. Okay, so let's move on to our social media content calendar. This is just a screenshot, though I do have a link to the actual one in the PDF book, which you can find for sale at speakyourownbook.com. So you can edit or make a copy yourself. But the social media content calendar is basically a way for you to keep track of what you need to post every day or every week on your social media. And it gives some examples of how to set that up and what to include in it. The message that you're going for. It'll automatically count the characters for you, so that's good. Or you can put the character count limit there instead. So I've also included in here the template for the SEO landing page. You can just replace the blanks or the bracketed information with your own information. So that's also available in there. I give an example of that with the Tarot Merlot, and it's color coded so you can easily find the information. I will probably be doing an update of lesson 2 at some point soon, because recently it has become more important to include what's called a internal linking system. And what that means is that in the second and third and potentially fourth, if you have a fourth paragraph to your landing page, you're going to include links to other landing pages that also talk about your book. So when you're making a keyword campaign, it's not going to be for just one keyword or one page. You're probably going to make it for at least 10 pages. My recommendation is closer to 20 pages for your first campaign. And you might have, if it's a tarot book, you might have tarot book for beginners, tarot book for intermediate users, tarot book for advanced users, depending on which one yours covers. If yours covers all three, make one for each of them. You might also want to include tarot for pagans as one, or tarot for witches as another. All of those different types of keywords, or long tail keywords as we call them, they get longer and longer and more specific, will help those targeted readers find you on Google. So we're going to stop there with the lesson before moving into lesson 3. And now we're going to back up. I'm going to stop the share here because we are going to start our meditation for today. Last week we did our meditation on deciding which idea of the many ideas that we had. We had our lightning bolt from our brainstorm meditation. And hopefully that has clued you in with the exact kind of book that you want to write, the topic that you want to write. If you've not decided what topic you want to write, I recommend that you go back and watch last week's meditation, at least the meditation section of our podcast at the end of it, because that will help you with finding the exact, or deciding on an exact topic for your book. So let me put on some ambient music here. All right. So, as we begin our meditation, sit, stand, or lie down, whichever is most comfortable, and close your eyes. Breathe deeply in and out, in and out, in and out. Continue breathing slowly in, slowly out as you meditate. Release all tension in your body. Now imagine yourself floating in a void of darkness. You are not in your body, but rather you are a single atom, though still fully sentient, drifting in darkness. You sit, at first enjoying the pleasant floating sensation and the feeling of being completely alone and carefree, relaxed and perhaps a bit sleepy, as if you were floating in an empty pool on a hot summer day. After a while, though, you find yourself a bit bored, perhaps even lonely. You look about in your form as an atom, hoping to see a glint of light or color in the darkness. On the edge of the vast horizon of blackness, you see faint pinpricks of lights of all colors of the spectrum. You begin to wonder if these are other atoms in the darkness. You begin to call out to the atoms, but they don't seem to hear you. They continue floating distantly in their own voids, unaware of your existence. But you remember that you are an atom, and within you is an infinite power source. If you only open yourself up, this powerful pulse of energy could burst forth, and then the other atoms in their distant, quiet universes might take notice. You gather up all of your willpower, all of your tiny atom strength, and you open yourself up. A fraction of your true potential escapes, rippling outward from you. However, this fraction of power is still massive in the blackness of the void, and a loud sonic boom accompanies your self-opening, sending a crescendo of power across the vast chasm of space. You scan the horizon again, and you notice that one single point of light has flickered, a minuscule blink in the darkness. Then another, and another. You see these points of light increase not only in number as more notice your release of power, but also in size. They move towards you, not slowly, but hurtling across time and space to join you. Within seconds, they rush into your own void, swirling around you, moving with excitement and joy. They have found you, another like them in the void. They have found others like them as well, for you have brought so many together. You also see that not every pinpoint of light has rushed towards you, but you are okay with this. You are surrounded by first tens, then hundreds, then thousands of other atoms, all resonating your own energy back to you. You have found your people across time, across space, across the very fabric of existence, and they have heard your call. You dance together in the darkness for as long as you wish. When you are ready, come back to your physical body. Breathe deeply a few more times as you come back to reality, back into your body, feeling the energy of the atoms that surround you, drawing forth those in the physical plane that you have met and danced with in the astral. When you are ready, open your eyes. Ground and release in whatever manner you wish. And thank you so much for joining us today on the Speak Your Own Book podcast. Tune in next week as we go through chapter 3 and we start outlining your book. Until then,